Good morning to you, Barrister.
Thank you, media. Good morning, and good morning, listeners. It's a good day to be alive, and today we are here again to do our business.
I didn't mention your name, so introduce yourself officially.
Okay, my name is Ebenezer Egwatu. I am a legal practitioner, and I am passionate about medical health and patients' rights. I'm actually a health and patients' rights advocate, which is an aspect of medical law, because medical law is big. So we want to focus and zero in on how to protect the rights of patients when they go to hospital, ranging from their admission in the hospital, their right to consent, giving consent before treatment is carried up on them, their right to know the drugs that are being administered on them, or the prescriptions, if there are side effects or none. Their rights to know the bill they are being asked to pay. How did we arrive at this amount? If there were certain tests that were carried out or that were prescribed and they couldn't do that test, are they supposed to pay for that same test? Because in some hospitals, as soon as the doctor says, go and run this test, they impute the cost into the bill. If at the end of the day, the patient ends up not carrying out that test, maybe for whatever reason, maybe money or whatever reason, is he or she supposed to pay the bill? So these are a few of the rights.
Yeah.
Assuming a patient comes to hospital and so after receiving medical care and could not pay the bill, what should be done? Does the hospital have a right to detain the patient until he or she pays the bill? We have had that experience before, and we found a way around it. So, and many more. If a patient comes and doesn't have money to pay and it's an emergency situation, must the hospital insist that such patient pays money before he or she gets treatment? Does the patient have a right to emergency treatment even when he doesn't have money? These are a whole lot. It's a whole lot. So what we are doing on this program is just to educate you, our dear listener, on your right as a patient and how to go about it. Because what is important is, first of all, you need to be alive. And that is the core of medical practice, to safeguard human life, to save lives. So if we now put money before life, the person may die and we will still not have the money.
That's true.
So that's just a summary of what we do here.
Well, in recent times, it has happened. It has been happening, but in recent times we hear cases of maybe somebody takes the patient to the hospital, and then along the line they tried to, give medical attention to the person, and the person eventually died. And then before the corpse is being released, they ask you have to clear all of the bills. Like, is this something that is right to do? We're talking about the hospital management and then the patients and their relatives.
I have always emphasized, and I will say it again, the hospital is not a charity organization. No, they are not. They are not. It costs money to set up a standard health care or health provision facility. The hospital is maintained with money. The nurses are paid with money. Even the cleaners, the hospital attendants, assistants rather. Do you understand? The nurses, the nephrologists, everybody you see, the security. So it needs money. It costs a lot of money to maintain the hospital. I've also said that standard health care costs money.
That's true.
So I will always balance it by saying that patients should endeavor to pay, except where it is a glaring case that this patient is indigent. Hospitals also have provisions where they can waive some amount from the bill.
Okay, like reduction.
Yes, they can waive some amount, can waive a percentage. Okay, pay this. There is also a situation where even the patient is unable to pay at the moment. They can reach an understanding. The patient puts pen to paper, signs an undertaking. okay, we will pay. We do not have the money now, but we will pay. This is our payment plan. We'll pay in installments. We'll pay this until we liquidate the whole sum. But what hospitals have complained about is that even today is Friday. On Wednesday, I will still talk about it. I had a wonderful experience as far as I'm concerned. I will still talk about it. But the CMD of the hospital was telling us that they have a situation where patients will receive care who came in under emergency, they have been resuscitated, stabilized, and everything. When they are well and about to be discharged, they don't have money at the moment, agreed. Patient, this is your bill. Okay, how much can you pay? See, I know they pay. I am not paying. This is government hospital. I will not pay.
Bluntly?
Yes.
Okay.
And the man who told us this cannot lie.
That's the attitude of some
yes.
patients.
So now, this begins to affect other patients who ordinarily intend to pay but do not have the money at the moment. So sometimes hospitals they are human beings also.
Of course.
They act out of previous experience. If they keep letting everybody go, one day you will come, there will be no hospital.
And there will be no doctor.
And there will be no doctor because the hospital cannot sustain itself. So we must balance it. Okay. Now, what is the social status of the patient, or financially speaking? Well, rather, what is the economic status of the patient? Do they afford it? Now, how much is involved? There are also philanthropists who go around occasionally to offset bills.
Yes.
So, even if the patient doesn't have money to pay, there's a way you go about it. You can call for help. Nigerians have maintained that the best people on earth. We are so kind-hearted that if you bring it to public knowledge, saying this is my predicament, we need money. Nigeria, even if it's 1 naira, 2 naira, 3 naira, Nigerians will contribute. Some other people can also prevail on the hospital, but let there be an understanding. That's what I'm saying. The hospital should not be too harsh. The person you are asking to pay money, this is Africa for crying out loud, just lost a family member, just lost a dear one. So we should also find a way of maybe expressing our condolence to the person.
Right.
Yes, because you console the person is grieving. So insisting on payment of money should not be, even if you want to insist, there's a way you go about it.
And sometimes, these patients, they have been left to, wander around the hospital. They've not paid. They will not be allowed to go. And then I think it's kind of, detrimental to their health too, because you're fine now, and then you're among sick people. You never can tell what will happen. So in that case, what should they do? Can they seek for a lawyer or something? Maybe.
Well, the hospital ordinarily has no right to detain a patient.
Okay.
No, you shouldn't, because the patient has not paid bills. No.
But we've seen that several times.
That it is happening. That's why we are doing this.
Yes.
That's why we are creating awareness, sensitizing Nigerians. Do you understand? You remember there was a time we handled a case here. A doctor in Lagos in a hospital detained a newborn baby
and the mom.
With his mom because they were owing 70,000 naira. I called the doctor. I said, you are wrong. The following day, he released the woman.
Hoping they would pay.
No, they agreed to pay. The woman wasn't a stranger to the doctor. In fact, the woman had had her previous births in the hospital. This was the third one. The first two, she delivered it in that hospital by this same doctor. And there was no issue. Unfortunately, this time around, shortly before the delivery, her husband lost his job. And they couldn't offset the bill. Out of 200,000, they had paid 130, leaving a balance of 70,000. And the man detained the woman, and they knew that. In fact, the boy came to the world as a prisoner. So he started his life as a prisoner.
Okay, basically, it's not right.
It is not. No, it's not right. It's not right. There are legal means of collecting your money. There are legal means.
What are these?
One of which is going to court. You can, in fact, what this doctor did eventually, well, after our discussion, I said, follow this patient to her house, get her address, let her write an undertaking. And that was what happened. I believe by now she must have finished paying that money.
Yes. I'm sure if she hasn't paid, they must have called you to say, oh, you mediated for this woman.
But like the experience I said I want to share, on Wednesday, I had a mediation session, so to speak, at National Hospital. A patient had gone there and wasn't properly attended to, leading to worsening of the case. And they wanted to go to court. I've made that arrangement. It got to my knowledge. I said, no, let's talk to the CMD. I happened to have had an encounter with him, still on patient's rights. So I put a call across to him, secured an appointment, and immediately he fixed the appointment, gave us time to come, waited for us, honored it, went with the patient's son, because she couldn't work, she was at home. Son came with another person, a senior friend, or madam rather. So the man listened to us. The CMD listened to this man's case, took notes. Wherever they were wrong, he marked it. After everything, the first word that came out of his mouth was, my brother, we are sorry.
Oh,
wow.
He felt very sorry.
I couldn't believe it.
Felt remorse for
He
everything
said,
that happened.
we want to apologize to you. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. This shouldn't have happened. Anyway, you can see that in all these places, it is humans, not infrastructural failure, so to speak. The light was on point, the machines were available, and everything. You can see it is human beings. This person didn't do what he's supposed to do. This person didn't do what he's supposed to do. This person didn't do what he's supposed to do. You understand?
So it was a matter of negligence. No?
Yes. But my point is, he admitted liability on behalf of the hospital and immediately apologized. Even if that meeting ended there, the guy was already satisfied. And that's what we are talking about.
Yes.
He didn't go about it saying, okay, this was, no. He said, we are sorry. In fact, this person is wrong. The person that did this is wrong. This couldn't have happened. This couldn't have happened. Then he went a step further. Because by this time, the young man's mother had lost confidence in the hospital. She said, if it is that hospital, I am not going there again.
Yes.
I am not going. He said, please go and tell Mama, come. We will treat her here at little or no cost. And he made a statement. He said, let money not be the challenge. We will treat Mama here. Honestly, I was overjoyed.
So
do you understand? As at yesterday, 8 a.m., they were in that hospital and they commenced treatment.
Finally agreed to go back.
She went there, and do you understand? That's what we're talking about. So I want to use this medium to sincerely thank Dr. Momo, the CMD of National Hospital. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
You
You
demonstrated extreme professionalism.
Let them come and come here and sponsor the program so that we can take them very well.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yes,
I will bring that to his knowledge.
Oh, he should.
Yes.
He should be here. Okay, let's open up the phone line now. Our time is fast spent. We just have 6 or 7 minutes before the end of the program. But you can call in and ask questions as it relates to patients' rights in the hospital. The number to call is 081-8999-1011. I'll take the number again, 081-8999-1011. You can call to ask, anything legal. It doesn't have to be what we are talking about at the moment. Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
My name is Lennox, calling from Ghana.
Good to have you join us. Let's hear your question.
Please, it's not just about patient. What they do in the hospital, is it right that you maybe you come with your loved one, a family member that is critically ill, and instead of them to attend to the personally sick, they are asking you for one thing or the other, and you are losing somebody you love so much.
Okay.
it the money that is so important, or the life of
when you
the
say one
one?
or the other, what exactly are they asking for?
Are you talking about money when you said one thing or the other?
Yes, of course. Because they will not even have the mind to attend to anybody. What you build in you is to get this person well. But what will be asking you is either you do this one or you do this one, or nobody will attend to anybody.
Okay.
So which one is more important? Is it the money or the life?
Okay, thank you. I when you were actually explaining, you said something about, it's the life that really matters. But you can go over it again.
Categorically, the National Health Act, Section 20 of the National Health Act says that a patient who comes to the hospital, an emergency situation, that's the underlying word, an emergency situation, should not be denied treatment because of money. So the first thing is the patient should be attended to. Now, the session went ahead to say any hospital that refuses to attend to a patient in an emergency situation because of money is liable to pay a fine of 100,000 Naira.
100,000.
Yes. Then the doctor or the healthcare provider can actually go to jail for 6 months if found guilty.
What about in the case where there's an emergency, probably involves maybe a shootout or something, and somebody is injured, and they're asking you, before attending to the patient, you have to bring a police report?
No, that one has already been overtaken. But you see, the problem is sensitization. There is a law that says you should not ask people for police reports.
Okay.
Now, the question now is, does the hospital, do the doctors know about this? One, do the patients know about this? So it's about knowledge. That's why we are doing what we are doing.
So that law is...
Yes, there is a law saying you do not need to ask a gunshot victim for police reports before you treat. Do you understand?
Yes.
And Section 20 of the National Health Act says no reason. Once the person is an emergency situation, the first line of action is treatment. Please stabilize the person. After that, you can now begin to talk about money.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. The phone has been ringing and I didn't pick the call. I'm so sorry, but you can call in. We have to answer a question first, and then we go back to the phone line. Let's see who is on the line. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, my name is Joshua, calling from Kabusa.
Good to have you join us. Let's hear your question.
Okay. I want to share my experience.
Hello, please.
Yes, I want to share my experience.
Okay, we do not have time for that. You can make it quick. Maybe 1 minute would do. Thank you.
Okay. There is what about person that brought a patient that has an accident or that has a accident, and when they brought it to hospital, they would say that let the person that brought that person, maybe you didn't know the person at all, you didn't know him in any way. You just saw him at the roadside and you pick him up and take him to hospital, and immediately take him to hospital, they're demanding police report. Okay. And if you didn't bring the police report, nobody will touch, no doctor, no nurse, nobody will touch that patient until you that didn't know the person, where can you go and get the police report? And if you didn't know the person, you didn't know how you can go and get the identity of that person. You understand? So that is my question I want to ask him, so that you will know, because so many people have accidents in the wrong ways, in many places. And when somebody, a good Samaritan, pick the person and take him to hospital, and they will not attend to the person, they rush to police station and get police report. And when you go to police station to get police report, police will, if you didn't take time, police will now jail you, or even they will lock you up.
Okay, thank you. We are almost out of time. Thank you very much.
Well, my brother, what we are saying, let me repeat it. Maybe you didn't hear it when I said it. You do not need police reports any longer to assist a patient who needs emergency medical attention, even if it's a a gunshot victim, a gunwound victim. You don't. When you go to the hospital, if the hospital demands for police report, tell them that Nigerian National Assembly has passed a law saying you do not need police report any longer to treat. If the hospital insists, just get the name of the person who attended to you. Find a way of reaching the CMD of the hospital. Find a way of complaining to the authorities. What I found out is the authorities are not aware of these things. If you bring it to their knowledge, they will intervene immediately.
Okay, and thank you very much.